You see us?
And has the start soon.
All right, so I'm going to transition. Hey, everyone. Okay, this is the first time we're using a new streaming software, so bear with me. But hello, and welcome to another installation of GameRT's Twitch program, Low Stress High Mayhem, where we choose a TTRPG, gather some librarians, play together, and talk about how to bring games and play into our spaces. I am Molly Porter. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Adult and Teen Services Librarian at the West Feliciana Parish Library in St. Francisville, Louisiana, as well as the current GameRT event programming co-chair. Today, I am here for world building wonders and collective shenanigans. I've brought some friends along with me for this venture, so please introduce yourselves.
So I'm Danielle Costello. I'm a research and instruction librarian at Louisiana State University. I'm also the GameRT president-elect, so I am here to support all of the shenanigans and all the play and bringing play into our spaces. And I'm so very happy to be here.
I'm Jessie Witten. My pronouns are she, her. I am a Games and Gaming Roundtable volunteer, and I don't currently work at a library right now.
I am B, my pronouns are she, her. I am a research student.
I'm sorry, I'm
studying tabletop games at a university in Scotland. I am coming to play Street Magic like I have one previous time, and I'm very delighted to be here.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, this event is being held live. However, if you need to leave or you'd like to watch it again, a Twitch video on demand will be accessible right after the end. If you aren't following GameRT on Twitch, Facebook, we should make a site called Faceboard, y'all. Facebook or Discord. Please follow along so you can join us all on our exciting adventures. Links for all of the places you can find us will be posted in chat throughout the session. And for anyone not previously familiar with GameRT, we are the Games and Gaming Roundtable of the American Library Association. Our mission is to promote gaming in libraries, whether it's programming, collection development, community building, prototyping, playtesting, or research. A quick word about our upcoming events. On August 25th, we have a webinar with Joy Cooper, who will be talking about her Calvert Award-winning work and her experiences with game design. So make sure to tune in for that. And we're planning a lot of fun and fascinating programs for the rest of this year, so keep an eye on our social media and event pages for updates. If you don't follow us on all those links, all those links will be available in the chat. So let's get back to the game. I can briefly explain, and then I'm going to hand it over to B. But I'm Sorry Did You Say Street Magic is a game of collaborative storytelling, city crafting, and creativity. This time we're also using the rule set for the sibling game. There are names here more powerful than our own. Our facilitator is Beatrix Livesey Stevens. And so, yeah, take it away, B.
Right, okay, so if you were here last time, we are going to be using the same Street Magic city, the same kind of like Street Magic board as we used last time. Let me just sort of mouse over to it. There's no real way to like explain Street Magic cities from the last time a group may have left off. But one of the main sort of components of a Street Magic game is the importance of true names and what those names mean to places in a city, such as the landmarks, the neighborhoods, the residents, or other components of that city. And the sister game we are using that is used in conjunction with a game of Street Magic is kind of a play aid or a kind of helper to help players understand how to find a true name of a resident or a landmark or something else. And I find that really fascinating to dig into from a standpoint of the design of the game, because the game designer of Street Magic, Caro Asercion, sort of says to players, don't try to force the true names, talk about the components of your city and sort of let them come to you. And it can feel frustrating when you are having fun talking about a certain component of the city, but just can't find a true name. So I really like that there is this play aid, there is this sister game to help you understand what a true name can be and to find these true names like with rolls of the dice. Because before I had found the sister game, there are names here more powerful than our own. I hadn't really considered ways of finding true names other than just sort of either thinking really hard or like someone saying something and then the whole group going, aha, that's it. So I'm really excited to roll some dice and look at some cool words and see what sparks joy.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Did anyone have a place they kind of wanted to start again with the city? Like I know we really took a liking to the emotional support cat last time. Do we maybe want to do some talking about the emotional support cat and maybe add an event to the city?
Ooh, I like that. So to kind of give everybody who's watching a little bit of a refresher, our city that we've cobbled together is kind of a floating, beautiful mycelium landscape of many neighborhoods, all interconnected. We kind of hung out mostly in the rain district, which had kind of that beautiful, perfect rain that makes everything moody and wonderful. And that's where we discovered our emotional support cat. But I think it'd be fun to do another neighborhood that emotional support cat runs around in, or maybe like I love the idea of a colony of emotional support. So maybe more than just emotional support cat. Maybe there's emotional support capybara, because I am into found families.
I
Yes.
adore that. Shall we add them as a character?
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
So let's see. Where's what? We'll figure out emotional support capybara. We'll just call her Cappy for now, and then figure out maybe her true name later.
Oh my god. Was that a intentional Patrick Rothfuss reference?
Absolutely not. Everything is happenstance, but my brain is excited that you brought it up. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Lily.
So yeah, Cappy likes to hang out, maybe not in the rain as
Asking
much,
about what?
although is a wet rodentia, so doesn't bother with. Oh, I'm coming up
Maybe
with
they
idea.
have a rain barrel that, because you said the rain just falls into it, so when it collects, and so they like hanging out there, but in wherever your colony maybe.
Oh, I'm thinking of
like
maybe
they have like multiple rain barrels or something.
Yes, I like that idea. Like a little outdoor, just rain barrel park, maybe for everybody to chill and hang out and be submerged in, because I love water. So yeah.
I love that.
What parts of Cappy do I need to make? I need to be reminded. So Cappy's pronouns are she, her. Don't know the true name, but I like the idea that Cappy just wanders around from maybe water to water source to water source. Like we made this city pretty magical, so can go from the rain place and that barrel to just kind of sinks down and then pops up in another location.
Did you add a card, or shall I add,
will you do that, please? I don't think I have access,
of course.
so yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that.
And then as we're playing for the folks that are watching, definitely we have a couple of different mechanics and abilities available to us. I made a resident card, but there are also landmarks and neighborhoods that we could use to build this city. And so kind of we're coming from various different levels, and it's not it's non-linear, it's non kind of spatial either, where we put the card. It doesn't necessarily, that's not where they live. They can move around and all that kind of fun stuff, which I love this game so much in the idea that it's so free form, but also as a human with pattern seeking behavior, there are fun patterns that pop up just naturally.
Very true. So I'm wondering, I realize that the rainy day neighborhood is rain, and that's kind of water, but I wonder about having a different watery neighborhood that the capybara can hang out in. So in my head, it's like, I don't know, where do capybaras live? I don't know enough
A
about
swamp?
nature. A swamp?
Rivers?
Do they live? Yeah, river.
Maybe?
Yeah, rivers, any water area. I know, like, they go to hot springs. Do you want a hot springs neighborhood?
That would
I
be
like
super
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do hot springs. Okay.
I mean, you see them hang out with a variety of different animals. Like they're just chilling next to alligators. So I feel like anywhere that's
it's just fun friend
water.
time in Capybara Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to drag over a neighborhood. I'm going to try to drag over a neighborhood. It says I can drag. There we go. Haha.
Yes.
Oh, no. Thanks. Control Z. Control Z.
You do it.
Okay. Okay. So, let me see. Neighborhood. Let me type, you silly patoot. Sorry, y'all. My brain is... There we go. Okay. Don't know yet about true name. We're going to work on that, I guess. But this can be... Spring hangout.
Nice.
Thank you, B. The capybara inhabits savannas, dense forests, and lives near bodies of water.
Okay, yeah. In my head, this is like the Yellowstone caldera or something like that, you know? And it's like, I don't know. They're pretty. I'm not gonna... Yeah, okay. So, reputation.
Is it like a cappies only place? Like humans are not allowed, only emotional support animals? Or
Would they be
is it like,
emotionally supporting each other?
ooh, is it a place is it like a Pokemon healing center? But like kind of different.
Yes!
Where like
Yes!
yeah.
Okay. This is a place when, if you are emotional support for anything or anyone, it can be exhausting. And sometimes you need to be wrung out and supported. And this is where they can go.
Like you
So
can
they can
find
decompress.
Yes.
like
Go
you
ahead.
can find giving emotional support very fulfilling, but still find it draining and need
Yes.
to recuperate.
And it's like that idea of you got to put your air mask on first before you can help other
Yes.
people. You got to help yourself
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. I don't know if I spelled recuperate right, but I don't care at this
I
point.
think that's correct, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Since we have our city in the sky, could this be a neighborhood that like is one of the kind of special things that like we bring in other like healers or other emotional kind of support peoples from around whatever our world is to be like, hey, this is a great area for you to like have a sabbatical or a chill out time.
Yes, like where I don't want to get too like professional talk, but like to take annual leave or whatever.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So this is like those like what are they called in cons, like quiet rooms where you can go to like decompress, to actually like like not have like crowds like of people clamoring for your attention because you're the one that's like usually has all of the answers or whatever, so that they can come in. But do they get the support from the spring itself? Like the spring is the one that's like embracing them and comforting them and allowing them to heal, and they don't actually get that from everybody else, because technically that would be like, pulling double duty. So is the spring itself like almost sentient at this point to be the one that allows them, so like maybe it's like a mental thing that they can unload to the spring, and maybe that's actually how the spring, I don't know,
I love
gets
the idea
its
of
comfort.
a sentient spring. I think that's
Yeah.
epic.
Ooh, is
Because I was
that
thinking like if they're gonna come here to like, heal themselves and also to like just kind of re like just chill,
Yeah.
but they can't talk to it to other emotional support animals, because then the emotional support animals that were
Mhm.
there to relax are now listening to them, and so it'd be like maybe
Ooh,
the spring is the one that allows
Mhm.
them to kind of
would
get
that be the
their,
whole neighborhood, or would that we make a landmark for that one too?
oh,
That's
there's
really
like a
cool.
mother spring.
A
In my
mother
head, the
spring.
spring is a
I like
character,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah. I like
same.
that.
like a river spirit kind of thing.
Yes.
I was thinking that. I was having the idea of the like not Haku from Spirited Away, but
Yes,
that
no,
other
for
one
sure.
that like yes,
Mm.
the one Chihiro kind of cleans up
Yes.
It
and
could be maybe they could so the spring itself is like an entity, but could it have like kind of little like kind of almost jellyfish like blobs of itself that it can go, and it can kind of like
Hive mind.
comfort you, like either like sit on your head or you can
Yes.
cuddle it or something. So
yes.
something that allows you that to be able to reach everybody, because it like this, they're all in the spring, but they might want to have like something to interact with other
Mm.
than like the overall vibe or whatever. But because you could like, can you imagine like a capybara with a little like
Yes.
water blob
That's
on
Yes.
so
its head,
cute.
Yes.
just
A
It's
little
This is so
jellyfish
healing.
friend.
like chilling out.
Uh-huh.
Molly,
it's
make
like
it
that
so. Make a
it's
resident, please.
it's like that meme with the capybara with a lemon on its head, but instead of a
Hmm.
lemon, it's a jellyfish.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
then this is a
And they just
resident
Yeah, it's
they
a
or
just float
resident.
around
The
and
hot
like
spring of the.
okay.
so that you can like there's a bunch of them in the air, and so you can kind of
Yeah.
interact with them as you will. Or if you don't want to, then they can just be ambiance and sway
I
with
love
like
that
some sort
beyond
of
belief.
Yeah. Okay. So then what's the title for this wonderful hot spring hive mind?
Mother Spring, I think we
Mo-
said.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
And I love the contrast because last time we created that library of things that was cacophonous and wonderful and melodious, but it was like it's a lot for somebody who might, have sensory issues, and now we
Right.
have
Yeah.
a much chiller kind of place
For
in the
sure.
city.
For pronouns, can we just have the spring be referred to as mother and never
Mhm.
never with any other pronouns?
Mother.
Okay. And then true name. Does anyone have an idea for a true name? Or does someone want to switch over to the names more powerful than our own rule set to
I
try to
was
figure this out?
Yeah, I was thinking about switching over to names more powerful than our own. So what I've done for this is there's a bunch of sort of sheets and they all have names. And these sheets are all grids of 6 by 6. Um and what's 6 times 6?
36.
36.
36.
Yeah, which means there are 36 different and I quote true name aspects.
Okay.
So not true names themselves, but you roll a bunch of dice, and depending on where they land on the sheets, those are the true name aspects. And I guess it doesn't I guess like if we're talking about a spring and I rolled dice all onto stuff about pavements or something, it might not necessarily work, but it would still but I guess like the fact of something not working gives
Mhm.
us a constraint for us to find what the true name isn't,
Mhm.
Right.
or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I feel yeah.
yeah.
I really like the Eventides, or maybe the Idle Fable.
Which one is that on?
That I'm looking at the Batch 2 document right
Batch
now.
2. And you said the Idle Fable and the Eventides?
Yes.
Is that City Classic 02?
Let me see. I think so.
I'm gonna Control F because they
Cool.
let you do that. Oh, it doesn't. Oh no. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not letting me
let me see if I can.
Control F for the stuff.
I've
heard the word Eventide so much, but I've never really looked up what it means. What
Eventide,
does it mean?
it means it's the same as Twilight.
Mhm.
And so it's that time between like it's like a quiet, it has a very kind of like I don't even know how you would describe it, like
Feels
very
soothing.
yeah, very chill.
Is it like the time of night where the fireflies come out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think. Let's see. The end of the day evening is what I'm coming up with for, but I believe that it's like wow, the example of the moonflower opens its white flowers at
That's
eventide.
really cool.
So
Nice. Okay. Okay, share. Copy. I think try that link. I sent it just in or not.
Oh, that's like from your computer,
Oh.
so it's got your
Oh, I'm a
username.
ding dong.
Not a ding dong.
That's all fine.
What file are you trying to get into? Because I can also, or if y'all would want, I can share. Like I do have.
Actually, if you can you share that on the little Street Magic? Maybe so people can see what we're
Yeah,
referring
that would be
to.
cool.
Yes. Game file.
Thank you for your patience, chat.
Yes,
Thank you, chat.
indeed.
Oh, the nominal anomaly one. I see. Oh, Eventide is the title of the grid.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Okay.
that makes sense.
There we go.
It could always be kind of perpetually sunset.
The best time.
I like
I
that
love
because
that.
yeah, Sunset has such a good like recuperating vibe. Like
Yeah.
it's sunset and this is the end of the day where you
Essentially,
sort of
Danielle's background, that color set.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do we use the dice again for this one? Or are we just
So
gonna
so the way we use the dice is this is I've never actually played this expansion before, but there's a first name for everything. Oh, and my dice are not on my desk. It's now me who is a ding dong.
I can roll for you.
There are no ding dongs.
I love your emotional support, Molly.
I just, it's my turn to be the capybara. But only for today.
Yeah, I wrote one of the grids down, but that's on the other side of the world to where you and your dice are right now. So the way it works is you roll 3d6 onto three separate sheets, and then the first die represents the grid we're pulling the name from, and the other two die on the other grids represent the row and column of the first grid, I believe. Like the first paragraph isn't. I'm not really understanding the first paragraph.
From what I read is that you roll the 3d6 and then the first one is whatever, so that would be the whatever page it is. And then the second two are just like the
Intersections?
So you're essentially making like row whatever, column whatever, and then whatever that one is. Or you can split them if you only want to roll 2 dice. You can split them. There should be like a top grid and a bottom grid on each page. And so that if you have a grid that you want, then you just pick that one and then you roll 2 dice and that gives you your coordinates essentially. Is what I understood it to be, but granted, I read it once, so I could be misinterpreting as well.
Sorry, go
No,
on.
you go.
What we can do is roll the dice, and instead of needing to physically roll them onto printed out sheets, we can just sort of use the numbers, which works because it's a d6. If that makes sense.
Okay, well, you want to scroll down to the eventide? I think we said we like that one.
Yes. Let me get... Here we
Molly,
are.
thank you so much for running the. This is our first time doing Streamlabs, and you're killing it. I love it so much.
I'm so glad because I was definitely like last night, like, Rebecca, please help.
Yay!
But she
having
did.
a place for experimentation. Oh, excellent. So I got a 4. So whatever 4 is
for the. Let's see.
Shall we use the first grid on the eventides or the second grid?
Ooh, it's an even, so let's do the second. So that will be
the second. Okay, and then roll once more.
Okay, and then I got 2.
4 and a 2. If we're doing, so it's either sizzling lightning storm.
Not with water, baby.
Yeah, or we can put it as gently used paperback.
Okay, I like that better.
Okay.
And then did I need to roll one more or?
Not in.
Okay.
I don't think it works this time to roll one more, but we could figure that out when we next use the grids.
That works for me. So I definitely know that Mother is not lightning based. That seems terrifying. So further away, but maybe paperbacks. Paperbacks is an intriguing idea. Especially gently used paperback.
This might be a silly idea, but there are no silly ideas when it comes to street magic.
Never.
This is reminding me of like when people sort of like sit by pools and read and read books.
Yeah.
So maybe there are sort of like fun little scrolls that the capybaras can sort of pick up and read, and like they come to the springs not that often, so they'll sort of find one and be like, oh yeah, that's that thing I always read when I come here, or like other cappies can like recommend them other scrolls that other cappies have read over the years that are just sort of there and are beloved by the cappies who come to recuperate at the hot springs.
That sounds funny. Mother, beloved of cappies. Okay.
Ooh, I do like that for a true name, though. I think beloved is a really good true name. Just that sense
I love that. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to briefly hide the game file so that they can see the board again. And do we want to put in beloved or beloved of capybaras or something like that? What's the version that we're going with?
Beloved.
I wonder if it's beloved of, and then it's just of, everything after that. Like there's no, because sometimes I feel words escape us, but like the idea of beloved, but just it's hanging off, and then it's whatever has come to the spring.
Yeah. I also just realized I took our true name as aspect and just world built an entire different component of the neighborhood, which I guess I wasn't meant to do, but it happens.
I welcome it.
Yes, absolutely. I think the best part about this game is it's very freeing,
Yes.
like mentally, like when you're thinking about like, okay, you have these moves and they're there if you want to use them, but also because we have such a fun time jiving with from going from one idea to another that it's just a delight. Because I was also like when we're making Beloved Mother first, it was like landscape, person, all this kind of wibbly wobbly liminal space.
It's like how last time we played, we were kind of saying that this is a game which was always meant to be hacked, and all of the rules are very like guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't even chosen a compass yet, and that's been in a quick reference forever.
Guys, if you'd like to read the rules, please do.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
in the
But
meantime,
always feel free to do what's fun for you and your group, because you don't want to get bogged down with something that maybe will cause you to not have fun.
Precisely.
Jesse, would you like to make another anything?
Sure. So this is something that I think would work well in this city. It probably wouldn't be near Mother because water. But I just love, and this is mostly because I just love this concept, is a small junk shop that sells like trinkets and little knickknacks, and sometimes you'll go in not knowing what you need, but something that, or maybe what you want, but you'll find something that you need. So you go in and it's usually will be tucked behind like in a little alleyway, nondescript, and it kind of you stumble upon it. So I don't know if you guys have a neighborhood that it could reside in.
We can make one. You start finish the location, and then we'll explore a neighborhood
Okay.
that it could live in.
Okay. But it's like it's run by pretty much when like let's see. I would say that it would be like an anthropomorphic like sheepdog. Because I just love the fluffiness of sheepdogs. So they're kind of just like, and then anthropomorphic because they need thumbs. Because you're at a junk shop, you need to be able to open your own door. Well, I guess the door could be sentient and open it for you, but I want him I want him to have an apron.
Yes.
And tiny what are those glasses that only sit on the bridge of your nose? They're like
Nez Pierce?
Pince nez?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it has a set of those like on his snout. And it's just a junk shop, and you can find anything.
He's a junkyard dog.
And he goes, it's everything under the sun, and it's just fun, like whimsical. He'll often make things out of things, so you can go in and get small little like crafted items, or like a gift for your grandma, or something like maybe your umbrella is on the fritz and you need to find something to get it so that it will like when you open it, it gives you the sparkles that it used to instead of just not working.
Does it have an address? Like what kind of imaginary address would you give it?
I would say that it would probably be in like a quiet alley of contentment.
I love
Just
it.
because, or maybe even of curiosity.
Ooh, I love it.
Okay. What are we calling this? Magical junk shop of happiness?
I don't have like a good name in my mind.
It doesn't have to be true name. Right now I'm just writing
Yeah.
title just so
Title,
we have a
yeah.
reference.
Then I would probably just say like a junk shop of something.
Maybe
Let's see.
I don't know, Shaggy Dog Junk Shop.
Sure, that'll work.
Okay, cool. I'm so excited about this. All right.
If nobody else has an idea, I have an idea for the neighborhood that this lives in.
Yes.
Cool.
And the name came very clearly. It's Bells and Whistles. And it's a neighborhood of
Yes.
everything and anything, like just kind of one of those neighborhoods that like you go down a street and it's all kinds of crafts and all kinds of, so the junk shop can be there. There can be one for fixing just like, it's just stamps. It's just like a shop that makes
Yes.
stamps, and there's another shop that's literally whistles, just only whistles, no other musical instruments. It's just each of them is so very hyper specific to a very particular love and niche that you can find almost anything. And I'm kind of imagining this, like most of our stuff has been kind of very natural landscape and very kind of nature driven, but I want this kind of like hodgepodge, like lots of little shops on top of each other, kind of in a way that feels like they might fall over but never actually
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the kind of like steampunk
Yes.
World of Warcraft gnomes type thing.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And yeah, because you're saying all of this and my brain is just like lots of little like cogs and wheels everywhere. And
I think like
go ahead.
but their cogs and wheels just spark something. Is like the signs like will often just kind of like have movement to them because of all of the like things. So like some people have signs that can kind of just go like around and like in this kind of like in a circle, or some like that's constantly switch, or there's other ones that just like they'll like flip or something because maybe they have like an advertisement that they're trying to do.
That sparked another brain thought. So you know in Hal's Moving Castle, when Hal just suddenly inhabits a place because he switches the castle around.
Mm.
So the idea that anybody can lease from anywhere in the world this neighborhood. So constantly new buildings are popping up just into existence, but like that storefront is here in this world, but also the person might be living in a completely different city or a completely different area. It's like truly like global with this little neighborhood.
I really like that.
Yes.
Oh, then you can get multiple cultures. So somebody maybe that's not on a floating island, maybe they're on a grounded, like a grounded city or something, and then they can bring like different kinds of commerce and stuff.
Which is why the signs are always flipping.
Yes.
Oh, multiple languages. This would be a very very like you would hear all sorts of dialects, all sorts of any kind of different like everything from maybe like a clicking based like or bird language or something like that.
Sleeping properly or something.
Or
I
humans.
love that so much. I love bird languages.
And let's see. Yeah.
I had an idea for the junkyard sheepdog.
Mhm.
When this dog isn't wearing their like pince nez and need to get like an important sort of job done, can they wear like big green goggles, big like
Yes.
golden goggles with green bits?
And
in
they
their
can
eyes?
have like the little things that allow it to like so they can like shift through, so maybe like a zoom
Oh yeah, and there's
or
like
like so, you know, like when you go to
Yes,
the eye doctor,
yeah.
they're like, is this one better? Is this one better?
Yes.
But think of that as like, but it allows him to see different
through different lenses.
things. Yeah, and it completely changes his point of view, like literally changes his point of view. So it could be
so
like a micro, a macro, or like different colors like that we can't actually physically see. Or dogs, I guess. And sometimes he makes a lot of puns on being able to see things differently.
Yes.
Love that.
Like you just have to get a different perspective or change your lenses.
And this relates so well to the glasses store. So the glasses
Yes.
for every way of viewing the world.
Yes!
And
Oh, I totally
like,
forgot.
Oh, I didn't
I
even
totally
see
forgot
that.
about
So
that. That's perfect.
Oh,
That's so good.
Yes, they definitely got those at the glasses store.
oh,
yeah, they have a really good relationship with the proprietor
Right.
of that shop.
well, somebody has to make the glasses, so.
Yep.
Oh, what would his... Now I'm thinking like his name has to be a pun. It has to be a pun of some kind now.
Absolutely.
Sight,
Oh,
vision.
something with
I wonder if it's like 2020 or something, like, being able to see like perfectly.
hound sight.
Uh-huh.
Houndsight. Ooh, Houndsight.
That's funny.
I love that. Oh, it's an
It
incredible
took me a
pun.
second.
Yeah, it took me a second as well.
Ah, Houndsight, yes. Molly, make it so.
I shall.
Oh, and I do appreciate, Molly, that you're running Streamlabs and doing all the back-end work for a beautiful, beautiful board. Thank you so much. When you're square, Molly, do you want to add anything to the neighborhood?
Let me see. Huh. Maybe, maybe a sound? In addition to, like, the linguistic fun things that we're hearing. Also, because it's called Bells and Whistles, we've got a shop that sells the whistles, right? But what about the... And the word I'm going to say is church, like church bells, but it doesn't have to be religiously affiliated, but like you can hear the bells that are like ringing out the time, that kind of thing, just like in the background.
Yeah.
I like...
And and like maybe the little shops have little bells tinkling over the doors when you
Love
go
that,
in.
Yeah.
So
like
that's
that.
my thought.
Yeah, I think that could be a landscape thing, like either just the bells that make up the neighborhood as one conjoined thing, or the idea that there's a landscape of sound too. It's not just landscape or landmark, I think it is. Yeah, it's not just landmark as like when you go to a place, it's not just a physical thing that you see, but sometimes it's a thing you feel or a thing you hear. So that could be...
What if there's
This-
bellflowers, like literal bellflowers in like the ground and then on the trees?
I
Or
love
like,
that.
so that way when the wind blows through or when the rain hits it, because this is a rainy city, it will make different types of sounds.
This is making
And
me
so
think of the whistles as well. The wind chime lady and the wind chime stuff. Yeah.
and then
this
you
is
could
all
have
coming together.
reeds that sound like whistles as well.
You are blowing my mind, Jesse. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Okay, hold on.
I spend
gotta
a lot
type
of
this
time
before
in
I-
my own mind,
I support
thinking
it.
about things. So
Okay. Bellflowers are actual bells. Love this.
and we could even have like a flower language depending on like what flowers that you pick and put together. So when they ring, they make a chord or a sound so that it could mean something like friendship or like I'm here for you or love or just like wow, that's so cool, and
The
I hope that it
Victorianist
goes
in
really
me is
well.
so happy about this right now.
Yes.
Okay. I love this. Yes, sure. Let's do it forever. It'll be an extra
That's
language.
Okay,
So
so
it's
every
still
ti-
part of the linguistic structure too.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then we've brought it back down to nature again too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I love it.
I love that. Thank you for adding more nature. I
Yes.
didn't realize we needed more nature, and my soul is so happy that we have flowers.
Always more nature.
Do we have like then like city gardeners who are like that's their job is to kind of cultivate not only like this beautiful landscape, or rather than cultivate, like help, because I remember the like our city is somewhat sentient, but also like just
Can
making
they
new
make
sounds.
moles?
Yes.
Can they be
Moles?
tiny moles?
Tiny moles, our tiny moles.
Mole
sitting in the-
gardeners?
I'm so glad you're
Yes.
with us.
And it's just
Tess.
like they're everywhere. They're just I just like the fact that they would also be like really hard.
Sorry,
They
I'm
wouldn't be able to
muted,
see
so
very
it's okay.
well,
Y'all don't have
but
to whisper.
because
They
of
could
that,
hear very well.
everything is slightly chaotic and more, and it's like a little bit more natural and not like because they're like the general shape looks fine.
Yeah, I feel like even though they can't see well, they are like very attuned to
Mhm.
each flower, very attuned
Yes.
to the space. So it doesn't matter that
And
they
to
can't see
the
them very well.
Mhm.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy we've given more texture and more different people to live in here.
And they would have their own like tunnel system.
Mhm.
So, and like I don't know why, but I feel like they would also have carts, like little mine carts that they would ride around in that would also have
Molly,
bells.
are you trying to select the resident card that's below Ula's card?
I'm trying to move Ula's card, and for some reason, every time I try to drag it, it's
Oh,
just like,
let me
nope.
do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
And yes, that was going to be the new resident card
For the
for
moles.
the moles. Or mole gardeners. My favorite thing. This is all my favorite thing. Everything about the city. Okay. I don't know why I'm even pretending that anything.
Now
would be
I feel like
second place.
I need to draw some mole gardeners.
Please
You
do.
absolutely do.
Oh my
Please
gosh,
do.
yes.
Keep an eye
Okay.
out, chat, for our social medias. We might have mole gardeners for you.
Garden. Do I?
Oh,
Yes. No, not
stars.
gardening. Garden. Gardeners. I can spell. Okay. Mole gardeners. And then because I was trying to click and drag things, I missed some things. But do the mole gardeners have pronouns or any other information I need to put on here?
I would think they would have all of them
Yeah,
because there's just so
same.
many.
There's so many.
Yeah. They work in
A
crews.
multiplicity of moles.
Multiplicity of moles.
I said this to Molly and Danielle last time, but this also has a parallel with almost all of the other cities that I've made, and I find that so interesting. There's always like some sort of crew of animals or crew of creatures who like go like help keep the city, like help tend to the city and cultivate the city, and I feel like that's a very like common theme in hope punk or solar punk places, and I really like that.
We have a
I mean,
suggestion.
who wouldn't want to see a fleet of moles running around carrying like little flower bulbs as they
Only
go?
buttheads, probably.
That's so perfect.
So Rebecca in chat has recommended an item to add to our, like a landmark for our neighborhood, which is a giant cuckoo clock.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
I feel
absolutely.
like that's a good one.
I need to go for just a second. I'll be
Yeah.
back in just a moment, but I have thoughts
Absolutely.
after this.
Yeah,
No problem.
worries. So I
Should
think,
the cuckoo clock actually have live birds that come out?
or maybe
Ooh.
the cuckoo clock is instead a improv stage for any of the bird type people to be like, hey, it's 12 o'clock. It's your time to shine.
That sounds wonderful.
So it's like sometimes it's improv
It's like a
performances, sometimes
performance
it's
stage.
it's
Okay,
a
so
performance stage.
wait, what if it's a clock tower and a stage pops out and then so then you just get like, so every whatever is just whoever wants to do it
I like that, yeah. And they can have
or
like set,
something?
yeah, they can have set like, okay, this is a regular one. About cogs and whistles, yes. Yeah, I definitely think a clock tower makes a city really awesome.
For
Like there's
sure.
something that feels very connected about having a timepiece that you can hear and like just like that has been heard like ages and ages and ages past.
Mhm.
Which
So,
like, hmm?
oh, I was just thinking about the bells again.
Mhm.
But what if there's like one, so the clock tower would probably have bells to be able to like ring out for the thing. But what if they're giant? You know how there's competitions to make giant vegetables? But what if you can get like a really low C flower, like bellflower, that
Yes.
then they can haul up, or you have to grow it up, I guess, so
Yes.
that
Okay.
it then can ring. So then you have, so technically the inside of the tower is just these ginormous, like thick plant the flower
vines.
stems that go up, and they end, and then so when you look up, it's just bellflowers of all shapes and sizes, but like
I love
including like
this.
really big ones.
So it's like the giant pumpkin competition, but we're trying to grow a bigger bellflower for the year.
Yeah.
I came back to giant vegetables and I'm loving this.
Yes. So like every year, like some communities do competitions for growing the best, or biggest produce, like giant like pumpkins that you can float down a city in. This is a real thing. This is not a fake thing. That's people actually make giant pumpkins so you can row. But the idea is to take our bellflowers, and they've gone into making deeper and deeper, more resonant sounds.
I love that.
So you know how like church bells are like really big and they have to, but this is just like a giant flower.
That's incredible. That warms my heart.
But you can also have little dinky ones where that you can just rattle around as you go about your day.
Or there's an entire group, like the moles are trying to make new sounds, so they're crossbreeding different flowers. Be like, okay, what's this? Oh no, that's discordant. Or oh, I like this new sound. We're gonna keep going with this.
Yes.
I love this.
Yay.
Did we decide to have the clock or
Yeah, so I think the cuckoo clock, if I understood this correctly, became like a cuckoo clock tower. Yeah.
I love that.
And then now it's a stage, so it's not just a single cuckoo, it's whoever wants to perform at 12 gets to do
is on the clock tower stage, yeah.
Oh, that's
or quarter
I
till or quarter after.
Right.
We have a lot of very creative folks in the city.
It's where the buskers go.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Okay.
I think they should have something specific that they play at the beginning of Eventide to tie it into that kind of vibe of.
It's this. They'll play the leitmotif of the city.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But it's like so during the day, maybe it's like a slightly peppier version. And then during the like Eventide and then going into kind of like Twilight, it's like it's a darker, kind of more subtle tone.
That sounds wonderful.
What is the leitmotif though of the city?
Well, that's escaped me. I do not know the musics as well. I'll paint you a picture.
It's a catchy jingle. You'll know it when you hear it.
For sure.
Hey, look, it's just gonna be trumpets because I love trumpets so much. But if you've ever listened to Star Trek Voyager or any of the Star Trek like orchestral parts, when it goes into that swell of just like you're feeling it, and then it's like open exploration, wonder, all that. It's like that.
This is making me think about trumpet flowers now.
Flowers!
Yes! Trumpet flowers too.
I'm for a jazz performance. Yes.
It's an orchestra of a garden, or a garden of an orchestra, whichever one you see first.
Yeah, have we implemented gardens specifically into the city? Because we've got the gardeners, but do we have like
No,
gardens?
I don't think so.
Gardens.
We do. I recently went to these really gardens, sort of near-ish to where I used to live, and they're like new gardens, and I'd never been before, and they have all these pretty sculptures and flowers, and they've got it's so nice. It was those kind of like those gardens have just sort of started popping up over the last few years. I don't know if this is like a British thing, but like there are these new gardens that look really modern, but like they're really comforting and really cool.
I don't know. That sounds really fun though.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
More green space.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca suggests that maybe the flower sound labs that the moles have are gardens.
Yes.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Here for it. Okay. Well, let's see. It's about 1:56, so I'm fine with continuing if y'all want to do this because this is very fun. But we can also pause here if we want to talk more about how to incorporate this into libraries or about, numinous kind of themes. But I'm just going to leave it up to y'all what we would like to do.
Absolutely. I feel like we had that moment of pause where we're like all very happy.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, this is a good thing. So I agree. I'd love to talk about like our thoughts and once again, library stuff. I love the idea of working on true names. And I love the idea of like having more tools and like that exploration of Lightning is definitely not Mother's true name, but how do we play with this concept and then kind of back and forth together collaboratively was very cool.
Yeah, like coming back to what we've said about rules being more like guidelines, I'm sure that when Caro was working on the grids, they were probably like, there are going to be players who look at the grids and they're getting ready to roll dice, and then something catches their eye, and they're like, that's the true name. Put the dice down. This is the true name. But for other players, I'm sure that like rolling the dice and finding the connections between certain phrases is going to be what sparks the true name. And for other players, it's going to be having lots, like talking a bunch, and then there's maybe no aha moment, but then someone is like, oh wait, what's that word that sounds like this, or like what's an adjective that sounds like that, and then people like sort of ease into names. Because recently I've been thinking about how names don't always like come to people just like that. Names, like, I love my name, and I don't think I always have loved my name, but I think the majority of people like their name, even if it's not one they've picked out for themselves. And I'm not sure exactly where my thought ends, but names, you sometimes learn to love a name more because of what you've been through with it and what it ends up meaning to you, rather than its initial meaning.
I think that has a lot to give to our patrons when we're talking about libraries, and this game in particular, when we're because we have all kinds of different TTRPGs out there for different experiences, but the idea of giving people the agency to name their experiences and like not just feel them, but actually give it a name that's graspable, and then to kind of maybe the idea of taxonomy, like the idea of kind of ordering and understanding your world and creating space for these different things that you're learning about your world is very cool. I think especially for like younger players too.
And
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go. You go.
Well, I was just going to say, kind of along the lines of what Danielle was saying, was I think that playing a game like this and adding that emphasis on the true names helps people, I think, to understand, or rather not to understand, but to think more deeply about the underlying nature of things, and to question things and to investigate things in a way that they might not have before. And maybe that's a self-reflection practice, or maybe it's like, for instance, I could see using this in a classroom, like tangentially helping people learn how to research, because they're like, wait a second, what's the true nature of what's going on in this article? That kind of thing. And I don't know. I just think it can help in ways that people wouldn't even think about. I don't know.
It really, for me, since this is my first time playing this, but it really kind of makes me think about just discovery and giving you the kind of gentle, maybe nudge in the direction of being comfortable exploring things that don't exist in terms of like the city, but that you kind of can, that creativity is a little bit freeing, so you don't feel like you're kind of stuck in these rigid walls of what is fantasy, what is sci-fi, what is punk, what is this, but you can kind of really learn to flex around and really kind of like give yourself, I guess, more of an understanding of the definition of what it means, of what they mean to you. So, and I think this would work really well for like any age group, but just to, because I feel like sometimes as we kind of work and go from our day-to-day life, but just that act of, frolicking through a field for no reason other than what's here? What can I find? Like maybe I'll find a cool rock, or maybe I'll do this. And it kind of gives your mind a chance to like, I don't know, go hang out with mother
I would love
and
to hang out with them.
have a water jellyfish sit on your head for a while.
If only. I on exploration and kind of on our patrons, the idea kind of that, like you said, Molly, things aren't always the same. Just the idea that you can have more than one name, I think might be a little mind-blowing. Like what is outward appearing isn't necessarily what's inward in nature, and being able to discover the multiple layers of a place or multiple layers of a person, I think is really intriguing because it gets us outside the idea of just appearance and really going deeper into what is that which is like essential to, whatever we're talking about, whether that's, neighborhood or humanity or morality or, all these different creatures that we're creating. It's fun to explore what the idea of trueness and keep going it, like giving that to, because I am in information literacy and kind of exploring, authority as created and context and all these different things that make up the information world we live in. It's not just as is, there's all kinds of different layers, and I really like that about this game.
Something I have been toying with that idea of for a really long time, but never thought I could really make work, is a story in which there was a character who got named different things depending on who was talking to them. And the idea of a true name, when I think about a person or a place, is like how the thing itself perceives itself, or like the person itself perceives themselves, which comes back to the idea of like the I don't know if it's right to call it like a mantra, but the idea that like you know yourself better than anyone else knows you, and the idea that like you can't fail at being yourself, which I have mixed feelings about, but but what was the end of my point? It was like yeah, the idea that like people can see things differently, I think, was something that Danielle you touched on, and the idea of trueness, and that a place or person can have multiple names and they can all be true because everyone's way of seeing a person or seeing a place is equally real.
And I also think that the ability for things to change, because your true name may not stay the same from when you were 10 years old to when you're 20 years old to when you're 70 years old. So I have that ability to grow into things or grow out of things and to change and shift, I think is a really cool concept, that because people will grow and learn more new things. Like who I am today is very different from just somebody who I was 5 years ago, because I've learned new concepts. I've learned like maybe my language needed to shift because it could be harmful for different groups that I didn't even realize it could be harmful to. So me being able to take that true name and just kind of using that as this is who I am now, and it's changed. And so even if somebody says, "Oh no, you're still this name," to me, but I know that, yeah, that could be true, but it's also true that this is who I am to myself in terms of like who I also would say that I don't know about the whole failing. You can't fail to be yourself, but um that would be a different discussion. But it's definitely something that I think everybody could, especially now when you think about all of the different ways that like how you can present yourself to the world may be different, and like the use of pronouns and just how we're able to realize that all of this stuff is so much more flexible and so much more like alive in a way that we just didn't have that language before, even though it was still true then. We're now coming into the fact that, oh, we actually have the vocabulary for it now. And I think I kind of got off my point, but whatever. We got there.
No, I totally agree. Wow, okay, this is fun. I'm trying to think of. I feel like I had so many thoughts, but they've all left my brain because I've been listening to all of you be wonderful. Okay. Well, do we have any other thoughts? Or yeah.
I wanted to come back to something Jesse said, where you were talking about like how something can be true for you like 10 years ago and maybe not true like in the present day. And I like to think that like even though something may not be true for you now, like I used to really love horses. I don't love horses as much now, but that experience, the fact that that used to be true for me, I still carry that with me, even though I no longer really love horses, and that's shaped who I am. So our different realities throughout time, and our different truths throughout time, even if they shift, they still have meaning for us, and they still influence who we are and who we're going to become.
Yeah, and they've left their mark. It may be like all experiences, positive and negative, can come in and make their mark, and they change who you are and how you see. And while at the same time, you're not always, like you're not just the good stuff or just the bad stuff, but you are a conglomeration, like a conglomerate of all the things that you have experienced. Like being able to embrace many of those aspects is, like you said, it's like just because I don't play with my Legos anymore doesn't mean that love of being able to create something out of just a bunch of random blocks hasn't affected me, and also, given me way too many hobbies, but whatever. To who I am now.
Yeah, we are our experiences, but also how we move through those experiences, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Yes. Good job, Molly. Building off that idea, Molly, I like that we've been talking about our own or how we see other people and all that, but also there's a whole collaborative nature when we've been playing this game that I don't think we've touched on quite as much. The idea that we're together finding a true name, as like a kind of like working it out, trying to like going back and forth and seeing like how, feeling each other, how we feel about this name. That's a really interesting aspect too, I think, especially when we're introducing collaborative storytelling, collaborative play. It's like it's not just there's a true name that we all are trying to find together. And I think it would be interesting, like if you could play this a bunch, and we would be finding different, like we might have a rainy city or we might have this, but it would be different true names because we're in different groups coming to different understandings together, I think.
For sure. And to me, I mean, the collaborative nature of this game kind of reminds me of, and I think intentionally, like it speaks to the the collaborative nature of a city, right? I mean, part of this game is that the city is like alive, you know, in a little way, or not a little way, in a big way. And I know we didn't have, I don't remember if we did it last time, but I know this time we hadn't had those moments where we're all kind of like embodying the city for a minute and like saying, oh, this is what the city thinks of it. But that idea that a city is a living, breathing, growing kind of thing, that very much depends on the people in it, you know? And so I don't really know where I'm going with this, but like these are the thoughts in my brain based on what you're saying.
It's a good thought, because I hadn't thought of like how we become the city through our collaboration together, which also, yeah, read N.K. Jemisin's The City We Became also.
That kind of brings us back to the sort of tagline of Street Magic, which is we breathe life into the city together.
Oh man, I love this game. I love playing with y'all because this is fabulous. Okay, now I want to reread those books. Also, been watching the Dimension 20 Unsleeping City series, and that's got a lot of these vibes too. Just throwing that out there. Okay, well, other thoughts? Or how are we feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Like, this is I think this game also becomes whatever the players need.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you could have this with all kinds of different ages and different groups, and you could see some amazing things. But I'm also interested in the fact that we always have very low stress, very calming, very wonderful things. I'm like, we needed this. And I'm very happy that we continue to make our beautiful city more and more.
This was the perfect Friday.
It was, truly.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we are going to call it, even though in my brain I will be in the city until the day I die. But thank you, B, for joining us again and leading us through it. And thank you, Danielle and Jesse, for joining us on the shenanigans. And thank you, everyone who joined in chat today, and for our new follower, Red Fox Flying, for joining us on our world-building adventures. We look forward to sharing more games and more ways you can play, so make sure to follow us in all the usual places. Again, those links are in our chat. This has been Low Stress High Mayhem with the Games and Gaming Roundtable, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!
Bye, thank you!